Britannia, at least for a time, ruled the waves. At her height, the empire accounted for 1/5 of the world's population and covered almost a quarter of the Earth's total land area. The lifeblood of the empire was trade. Through trade routes stretching from Britain around the world, she imported raw resources from her colonies. Wool from Australia, butter from New Zealand, steel from Canada, tea from India, cotton from the Americas, sugar from the Caribbean, gold from South Africa, and so on. These resources were processed in the nation's factories, and were in turn sold back to the empire, who were of course equally prolific at trading amongst themselves. All of this trading was protected by a system called Imperial preference, a system of preferential trade agreements, tariffs, and the sterling area, where the colonies peaked their currencies to the pound sterling. This reflected the British policy of splendid isolation, to avoid European alliances and commitments. As Churchill said, if Britain must choose between Europe and the open sea, she must always choose the open sea. But, at the end of World War II, the United Kingdom's economy was exhausted. Her coffers were empty. She was, in a word, broke. And Britain's mercantile empire was trading on borrowed time. Europe as a whole was in economic ruin. 70% of Europe's industrial capacity had been destroyed, while the United States had not been exposed to strategic bombings on her continent, and emerged producing approximately half of the world's industrial output. The United Kingdom turned to her wartime ally America, and a delegation was sent from Westminster to Washington to ask for assistance. The British had lost 3 times as many citizens as had America, and they believed that a grant would be feasible and appropriate. John Keynes, as part of the British delegation, even argued they should not be authorised to agree to anything except an out-and-out grant. The Americans, with fresh memories of the Great Depression, were less inclined to simply hand Britain a bailout. But the words of their negotiator, Will Clayton, illuminated the Americans' objectives. If you succeed in doing away with the empire preference and opening the empire to US commerce, it may well be that we can afford to pay a couple of $2 billion for the privilege. In return for an American loan, on rather favourable terms, Britain would dismantle the imperial preference system, end currency exchange controls, and pass the Bretton Woods proposal, the precursor to the World Trade Organization. These terms set Britain on a path away from mercantilism and towards free trade, opening the British Empire to American goods. The following year, the US started the European Recovery Programme, known as the Marshall Plan. This injected $13 billion, $130 billion in today's money, into the economies of Western European nations. This lifeline wasn't just a check, it included American exports, and so American companies profited. Rebuilding trade partners was of great importance to the United States, and this program cemented America as trade partner of Europe. Like the Anglo-American loan, the Marshall Plan erased trade barriers and tariffs, but it also set up institutions to coordinate the economy across Europe. In doing this, it laid the seeds for the European Coal and Steel Community established in 1951 by Belgium, France, West Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. The idea of the founders being that with Europe's economies integrated, war between them would not only be undesirable, but entirely impractical. On New Year's Day 1973, the United Kingdom became a member of the European Economic Community, the successor to the European Coal and Steel Community and precursor of today's European Union. Unlike the original members, Britain joined for economic, not political reasons. It was obvious that the valuable trade was with Europe. For the United Kingdom, joining the EEC meant signing up to EEC policies, and that meant an end to being able to maintain what was left of imperial preference. Britain was, for example, no longer able to freely import agricultural products from its former colonies. Imperial preferential trade agreements gave way to European protectionism. Particularly in Australia and New Zealand, Britain's membership was seen as a betrayal. Australian butter exports dropped by more than 90%, and the apple trade declined by 68%. These former colonies, on the other side of the world, began a painful process of realigning their economies away from Britain. Former colonies diversified their trade, including with the new powerhouse economy of the United States, but where Britain and Europe stepped out of the South Pacific, China and Asia were eager to step in. China embarked on its economic liberalisation in 1978, and today China is the largest trading partner of both New Zealand and Australia. Back in Britain, the economy also shifted, away from being the industrial heart of an empire to a service-based economy integrated with its European neighbours. And for the English-speaking world, Britain's membership wasn't entirely negative, as now the United Kingdom has become the economic gateway to Europe for its former empire.